going on, folks? And we're back, and we're speaking live with Yonas Hagos. So, do you remember the first time you ever shot a gun?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
Basic training.
Okay. Damn, you shot your first gun in basic training?
In basic training. So everybody in my platoon knew, obviously. Let me rewind. So when I arrived at basic, drill sergeants would ask where you're from. You can't say Wheaton, Illinois. So you take the nearest biggest city and say Chicago. So, you a thug. So you shoot guns sideways. So that kind of followed me.
That's not a stereotype.
Anticipating range day, I believe it was week 3 and going into week 4 of basic. I was excited and I couldn't sleep at all. And we got to the range about 0900 hours, and kind of give you the whole spiel. You're gonna be firing live and all this. I tune all that out because I'm like, man, I get to shoot a gun. All I wanted to hear the gun was go bang.
Yeah.
And I could recall my first trigger pull. The drill sergeant's behind me screaming, "Come on, private, pull." Sitting there, I'm like, and I kind of closed my eyes because I was scared. And I kept pulling and pulling and pulling. Maybe 7-8 pound trigger pull. By the time it went boom, and I opened my eyes, I looked, I'm like, it's shot. I kind of stood up. The sergeant took his boot, So he's like, "What's wrong with you, Hagos?" I'm like, "I'm sorry." I was like, and love at first shot.
Now that was a rifle, correct?
Yeah, it was M16.
Okay.
Oh man.
And so what was it like when you shot? What was the first handgun you shot?
M9.
M9?
Correct.
Okay. What were your thoughts on that? I
loved it.
Yeah.
Everybody tell me don't hold it sideways. I'm like, I was shaking. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I wasn't the most disciplined shooter, but it was exciting.
Yeah.
It felt heavy. I can recall that. It felt heavy.
The handgun or the rifle?
The handgun. The rifle was heavy. I expected it. You
Gotcha.
see this long thing with a 20-inch barrel. You expect it to be heavy, but the handgun, I was kind of surprised.
Okay. So now, what got you to join the Army?
9/11.
Yeah.
The country's done a lot for me, and when 9/11 happened, I did a lot of thinking, and I felt like I had to serve, do something, and I joined. My mom thought I was crazy. She's like, "Don't do it." She pleaded, she begged, she cried. I remember her pleading the day before I shipped out to basic, saying, "You're making a mistake." I said, "No, I got to do this." She goes, "We're going to war." I said, "Yeah." So the day I arrived.
So you joined knowing good and well that you were going to end up having to go to war.
Oh, yeah. There was a president and was doing the back and forth with Saddam. So I arrived at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, March 18, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
That was the day we invaded Iraq. And when we arrived, they pulled us all in and pretty much said 90% of you are going to Iraq or Afghanistan, and half of you are going to come back and body bags or wounded.
Wow.
And training got tough. They said, "No, from now on, we're not playing around. You guys are training for war."
So what did that do to your mindset at that time? Like the moment when you heard that, what were you thinking?
I prepared myself, but when you hear it, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I was scared. I'm like, man, maybe my mom was right, but I said, there's no backing out now.
Uh-huh.
Take full. Can I say this? I'm gonna take the training seriously.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. And so at that point, you when you actually shipped out, you did a tour, I believe, in Germany.
Yeah, shipped out to Germany. So my unit had already deployed to Iraq. So they had to fast track me to get about 4 to 6 weeks of training before they shipped me to Iraq.
Okay. And before you went to Iraq, what was it like in Germany?
Oh, I had fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Is it the kind of fun we can talk about here? Or
yeah, I mean, we went out to the clubs, parties.
Yeah.
Just I was in a foreign country, driving small cars, fast cars. It was fun. No, but the train, I had some good people training. Actually, we had NCOs that came back from Afghanistan that kind of said, "Hey, you guys are going to the sandbox. It ain't no games out there, so prepare yourselves."
So then when you actually were shipped out to Iraq, talk to me a little bit about what that experience was like.
So I went into Kuwait. From Kuwait, went into Baghdad, and at the time I arrived, kind of had died down. So my unit had seen some stuff, and me being the new guy, people didn't like me too much because like, oh, great new guy,
Hmm.
don't get us killed, all kinds of comments. I kept to myself. Took about 2 to 3 months before I can earn their respect, but I'd get you know the jobs that no
Nobody
one,
would.
yeah, nobody wanted. I pulled extra guard duties, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Uh, Around November, going into December,
Hmm.
uh, we had uh, we had an IED attack, and we lost a couple of good friends.
Yeah.
I had ended up going to Qatar for a few days, and my uh, platoon, well, my section was supposed to have done that patrol, and
Gotcha.
there were one guy short. That was me. I came back Christmas Day, heard the bad news. Then moving forward from there, things kind of got very hectic, especially around February into March of 2004.
Okay. Now, uh, when you were out there, and then just kind of generally speaking, when you're out on tour, what, how, because at any moment, I'm pretty sure some days are better than others. Mentally, how do you deal with that in terms of knowing that at any moment things can spike up and you can find yourself in a very bad situation, and then other times it's kind of, for all intents and purposes, kind of chill.
Part of it was my training kind of helped me because being fresh out of basic, I didn't know it all, but
Hmm.
they had trained me to operate like a robot. So
Okay.
if IED blew up, you're panicking, but you're kind of doing stuff. You're running to take cover, or if you're being fired at, you're firing back. But at the same time, your mind is saying, oh man, what am I doing? What am I doing?" Before you
Hmm.
know it, you're taking out another magazine, ejecting the other one. So
Okay.
instincts kick in. But I had some good leaderships, and I remember when my smoke told me, I had a heart to heart talk with him. I say, "Smoke, people are dying left and right." I said, "I'm scared."
Yeah.
He goes, "It's okay to be scared." And he looked at me. He goes, "I'm scared too." And I kind of looked at him like, "You don't show it." He goes, "You just gotta accept fear and just drive on." So I had accepted the fact that I can be killed there, and talking to my mom, and the letters I would write would show. People would tell me like, "Yeah, you were, pretty much saying like, man, the end is coming."
Yeah. Now, you do currently, I believe currently you still do work with other veterans. Am I correct?
I do.
Yeah.
That's my passion.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So I got involved with an organization. Not sure if it's okay to say the name.
Yeah.
Mission continues.
Mhm.
Out of St. Louis, Missouri. Actually, the guy that founded that was a Navy SEAL. He just became governor. Good buddy of mine. He inspired me. So when buddy now, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, you need to be involved with this organization." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Become a fellow. You volunteer." And at the time, I had a fitness center I owned.
Yeah.
He goes, "You can maybe bring disabled veterans and train them." I'm like, kind of, made me very interested. I said, "Okay, sign me up." So, long story short, I started bringing in veterans with missing limbs, where they're blind. Just you get them out of the house, you bring them in, and obviously, you've been around veterans. When
Yeah.
we get around each other, we get very comfortable,
Yeah.
and you get to say things you normally don't say to your average Joe.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm very passionate about veterans. That's one thing that you
That really
know.
touches the heart. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And just for those of you who don't know, Jonas is also a Purple Heart recipient. And just very quickly in light detail, kind of give people an idea about what happened to you when you were out on tour.
So April 10th, 2004, we got ambushed. Took an RPG direct hit. It bounced off behind me on the vehicle I was on top of. Long story short, I was announced dead. Left lung collapsed. Almost fell off of the vehicle. I was about 10 foot off of the vehicle. It was a track vehicle called a howitzer or pallet.
Yeah.
And the guy on the side pulled me. They said your body was pretty much lifeless. Woke up, lost a lot of blood. I didn't have external bleeding. Not trying to get into detail,
Yeah.
but I was rushed. They called my mom and said, "Hey, we don't think your son's gonna make it." It took about 2 days to stabilize me. They flew me out to Germany. I was getting ready to come to Walter Reed's. My parents didn't know what was going on in between the times. I had multiple surgeries, and they found it better for me to stay in Landstuhl, Germany,
Hmm.
instead of moving me around. And I recovered. I shouldn't say quickly, but being young helped me. You
Yeah.
know, when you're younger, you can kind of get back on your feet quicker, but still have the scar tissues. They told me I'd have 50% mobility in my left shoulder.
Hmm.
The surgeon wrong. I got about 90 to 95% mobility. I have bad arthritis. I have my good and my bad days. I
Hmm.
still have chunks of shrapnel in there, but I can't complain because I got both arms and legs.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I really want to thank you for your service, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's also been a pleasure speaking with you, man. I really enjoyed it. Don't make this the last time that you join us here on Noir, seeing live. And thank you very much, man.
I appreciate you having me, man. It's an
Absolutely.
honor.
You have a good one, man.
You too.
All right. That was another episode of Seeing Live. I hope you guys join us again next week. Yeah, have a good one.